Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to get from Giraffe into Rhino using a little Rhino Python script. And then in Rhino we'll use Grasshopper to apply a facade to a giraffe geometry. And then we'll get it into Speckle as well, so you could get it into Navisworks or Revit or whatever. And the point of this video is to show you that Giraffe fits into an integrated workflow, like a multi-software workflow. And I think meaningfully contributes to that workflow. So Giraffe is especially designed to do this early stage massing. So I'm going to be building this tower and I'm just going to chuck it on the default layer, pop it on the top, and just notice that as I'm working, all my areas are done and it's clean. I'm not double counting slabs that are on top of each other. I'm not making mistakes. I'm not having to scale and copy and paste and get my context in. I'm working extremely quickly and I'm building a design that looks something like this. All right, quite a chunky tower, but it'll do. It will do. Let's round the corners. So we add the corner type property and let's set it to something like 6. There we go. Okay, so now we have this tower. And it's chamfered like on that corner to protect the solar access to the park. And we've spoken about floor plate with the client, 2,800 square meters, gross floor plate, net of core. That's something that's leasable. We've spoken to the city around setbacks and alignments, and we've got ourselves a scheme that has been pressure tested by multiple people in record time. So we're 1 minute 50 seconds into this video. All right, now I'm going to export a GeoJSON. Now GeoJSON is just a text file and it describes the geometry of this building with some properties. Come across to Rhino, I'm going to delete everything and I'm going to minimize my Grasshopper and I'm going to run a Python script, run Python script. So I'll add this Python script somewhere and you can just run it and it's called giraffe to rhino.py. So you click open and it asks you to input a giraffe model path, which in my downloads, we've just downloaded this 19289 in brackets 5. The script prints some stuff out and you can see there's my rounded tall building that we just designed. Now, what I've done is I have broken this into two. So there's the curves and there's the masses. They have the name, so that's commercial. And if I switch to a shaded view, you'll see that they come across with the colors as well. So that light blue commercial, that dark blue retail. And now we're going to use Grasshopper, and I've just written a classic Grasshopper script. Graph mappers, ranges, jitter, all the hits. And I'm just going to reference these curves in, set multiple curves. And the script is going to chunk along on my M1 Mac. And I'm just going to turn on the preview. Okay, this is what we're outputting. And you can see it's an homage to the grid facade. And we're graph mapping and we can change the way this thing looks. And we could change maybe, oh yeah, we go, we're getting like quite an interesting line around this building. And if we put the jitter up to 0.3, it's going to scatter these things up and down the building. There we go. I prefer it's flat. So take this process here as the facade design process. I could be sitting with the engineers, the ESD consultants, the fabricator, the contractor, figuring out how to make this building something special. And when I'm done, I'm going to bake this onto this layer 5. The word's called bake, but it's a fried egg, unless that is a baked egg. And now if I switch to a rendered view, you'll see we've come across with this colors. And I'm going to sell the mesh, sell mesh, select mesh, 2 meshes. Now I join those meshes just into 2 meshes, just so it works quickly. Otherwise I have like 10,000 meshes and it's too slow. Export selected, GLTF. GI export 6, keep the export parameters as per defaults. Let's make a new facade layer, facade 6, create, and I'm going to upload a point file, a 3D file with a point insert, upload 3 model, click, defaults with the little giraffe, change, new upload, choose File. Number 6, open. All right, and save. Use the file. Okay, now the reason it's not visible is because I've used a pure white file. So it's like this, it's this white building, and then we just place it in place. Now, you may argue that this is a bit ridiculous and like, why didn't I position it properly? And we could, you know, we could have used the script to have found the exact XYZ location, but we didn't. And so we just eyeballed it. So my apologies for that, but it was very quick and very easy. And we now have a facade, and we can turn down our default layer, turn it up again. Actually looks better with it up because of the mapping. We can fade this guy back, something like that. And this is a very useful model. And now we're 6 minutes in, so we've designed, modeled, parameterized, and got back into Giraffe. Great for presentations. Great for presentations. And actually, look, I've been doing this, right? So I'll turn off this. You know, we have different versions of this facade. Here's like a timber version. Here's a different one. And the original best doesn't exist. Oh, there it is. So you can see I've been just fiddling around with that script. And I can go through options and really talk about how they work. Okay, so 2 teams, massing team, urban planning, you know, master planning principles, big macro moves, floor plate orientation, form, tectonic, and a facade team working on the facade. And those 2 are integrated very tightly. And fun. You know, we're really playing here. The computer's doing so much work for us. We're not really doing that much. Great way to design, great way to play, serious play. But not enough. Let's do some more. Let's get it into Speckle. So what I'm going to do is delete that because we don't want to send that into Speckle. And so now I just type the word Speckle. And I'm going to create a new stream. And I'm going to call this one White Facade. Create it. And I'm going to select the layer number 5, which is where everything is, and I'm going to send it, whip it. Now it takes a while, there's quite a lot of data here. You know, if I click on this thing, on the mesh, you can see there's many a point. If I click on the other mesh, there's many more a point. Yeah, I didn't particularly intelligently mesh this thing, but it still works. Okay, so here's another old facade. So I'm going to go back to my streams. I guess go home, streams, and I want to refresh. I want my white facade that I just created. White facade, and 45 elements from Rhino. That's the 2 meshes plus the levels. There we go. Object type. Turn off the mesh. There's the actual outlines. Those are of the leasable levels. And clear this. And there's what the building's currently looking like. And I would be imagining as you did this, we're under 9 minutes, so we're really whipping this stuff around. In Rhino or in Revit, or Navisworks, you'd be creating the schedule, you know, outputting these panels, the solid and glass that are the same size. Maybe you're bucketing them by size. So we can achieve this dynamic kind of almost basket weave look without, you know, spending half of our lives writing out schedules and positioning points, because we have all of that data. It's all digital. It's really cool. Okay, so that is data jumping around Giraffe to Rhino to Speckle, and then Speckle goes to many, many other packages. I think Illustrator, QGIS, Revit, Graphisoft, so ArchiCAD, SketchUp. So at this point, you've really got Giraffe as an integrated part of your workflow. And Speckle, of course, costs $0. So it's not going to break the bank. And I want to emphasize, again, the 2 benefits is speed. So you're working in Giraffe very, very quickly. I think Giraffe cannot be beat at this early stage of diagram and mucking about. is just too quick. It gives you too much data, like too many areas too quickly. But then, of course, Giraffe can't compete with something like Rhino, Grasshopper in terms of complex facade manipulation. And so then getting it into Grasshopper and Rhino to do this, to actually model this thing in a way that it tells a story is awesome, but very, very fast. And then the second thing is that sort of multidisciplinary approach that you can break down the logic. And so you can, in Giraffe, do some of the area logic and some of the contextual analysis, that macro. And in Rhino, you can have facade scripts that you can apply. So, you know, I've got a script here called facade, but I may have multiple that my facade team has built up over the years that I'm able to then deploy and iterate on very quickly. So each project becomes a continuation of previous projects rather than, you know, starting from scratch. And that is obviously immensely powerful and a great way of building a firm that retains its knowledge, its organizational knowledge, and manages it well, and uses it to create value very, very quickly.